Good afternoon from Yummy BTV, and in the house with me, as promised, I've been telling you for quite some time, the great Croxson, rest in peace, my boy, man, I love very dearly. His son, Jamie Croxson, talks the absolute business and the facts today. Written evidence, other people's things, the absolute truth on what he thought of his dad and what it was really. And well, we hope so. We haven't even started yet. It's a bit presumptuous, but we're going to go straight in and start from the very top, if you get what I mean. And this is Jamie Croxson. Nice to see you, Jamie. You look just like your old man. If you put the glasses on, you look like him. I swear to God, man, I loved him.
Do you know what? I've got a pair in there, He had the big ones, didn't he? Like, you know.
He changed. When I saw some of the other pictures the other day, I
Yeah.
was thinking some pictures he's changed. But when I first saw him, he had those lenses that made it look like they were. I don't know if they were too small for him or they were, but they were that stared. Jamie. But Jamie, look, it's all about you today, my boy. Now, obviously, was his first son.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And take us back to...
First kid.
First kid, right?
First
there's
kid,
other siblings, we'll get to that later on.
Yeah.
But the early beginning of growing up with a household criminal underworld, massive name, really. What was it like growing up with him, Del Croxson, your dad, and mum? Give us a bit of the early background of the home life with the big fella.
It was brilliant.
Start where you want.
It was brilliant. I mean, if I could go back, and think, things would have been different with my mum and the dad, I mean, it was great, mate. I mean, a lot of the time I'd go out in the lorries with him. He used to do a lot of scrap, like.
Oh, a lot of scrap, right.
He used to go, like, he'd see the old motors on the road. He'd throw the change through the windows, pick them up, and we'd go and weigh them in. I mean, he got me horse. I had little scramblers and that.
What age was you then? At that, when you got a good memory, what was these little moments?
Do you know what? He picked me up from school. I was in Wyebridge Lower School in Raynham.
Right.
And
that's where you grew up, Raynham.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I come out of school one day to meet my mum, and my old man was in an escort van over the road. Like, I think they weren't talking at the time or something. And so he's gone, Jane, come over here, you come with me, boy. Anyway, I've gone over, I've jumped in the van, like, my mum's obviously said, go on, you can go, you old man. But I've got in, and he's gone, have a look in the back. And I've looked in the back, and there's a little under QR50, brand new, and he's got me out, we've got out of the van with it and all that, and he's gone, right, what you do is, I mean, do you know what, I was probably 5, and this was a little 50cc, and it was quick. He said, right, what you do, boy, get on it, pull back, the accelerator, and boom. And I mean, I've gone like that, shot up the road, and crashed it, right. But after that, I was like mad as a march, but the old bill come around and ended up taking it. I got it back,
right.
Proceeds to armed robberies and all that, but I mean, that time, it was great. It was great, as a kid.
What do you mean? So that proceeds of, we'll take a stop there.
Yeah.
So you're 5 years old.
Yeah.
And proceeds to armed robbery. So do you have ideas that Del was into criminal underhand stuff, heavy duty stuff? So they've confiscated a present basically from you. Did it end up in court on that? With that? Do you remember? Did he go to prison at that age when you was 5?
No, do you know what, Yami?
When was the first, that age when you went missing? Like in that early bit?
Do you know, it was like weird. I see him with guns and that, right? But it was like, I don't know, I was a kid, so like, I didn't know no different. Do you know what I mean?
At the age of 5?
Yeah. I mean, I remember once, as we walked in the house in Raynham, it was a masonette, like.
Yeah.
And we used to, in the living room, there was like that frosted glass.
Yeah.
It's got like the chicken wire in it.
Yeah.
There was that, right? And I remember he was with some other fella. I can't remember the fella's name.
You could see bits through it.
It was one of them Lugers, them German Luger things, like.
Yeah.
But, I didn't know no different, Yummy. You know what I mean? It was, I know I don't know, but,
No, it's not registered probably at that age.
Well, I
probably
didn't.
normal.
No, I mean, like, when you're a kid, you what you see, you think it's just part and parcel of going through life, So,
but didn't you? So you would have seen that kind of stuff but you didn't obviously see him committing crime and that kind of stuff. But from that early stage there, James, you got your little tender moments with When did he leave you? What age was it that you kind of lost? Your dad went to prison, and you started seeing him less often.
I think me mum, like, I think, you know, you block certain things out,
Yeah.
but like, you know, I remember like the flying squad were all over him, like, you know, because my old granddad Jules, comical, like, you know, old pop, my old granddad Jules, he's reading the local paper and he's reading it, you know, two men in balaclavas and bomber jackets, robbed the post office, you know what I mean? You go, fucking hell, Dell again, that's it, you know what I mean? But, yeah, no, I mean, the first I knew, when I used to go up with Nick, but like you say, I remember when I used to go and visit and all, and, he's like, all right, Dell, yeah, Dell this, Dell that, you know.
And he was, do you remember that age, around about that 5, 6, 7 age?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, I'm not trying to.
I was probably in jail with him then.
Yeah, you probably
Weird,
wasn't.
that,
Yeah. You know, but people used to be right up him, you know what I mean? But he weren't a bully, you know, he wasn't, yeah. I mean, he used to go in shops, you know, and I remember Neville's a jeweller in Elm Park. Someone rang the old man up once, right? Apparently he was a grass Neville, you know what I mean? Whether he was, I don't know, but some black fellas from Upton Park have come down anyway. They're in the shop, and someone's phoned the old man up. He's gone in there, and he went in there with a 44, like, you know what I mean? And this black fella, he's looked up. He's on a stall, like, as you walk in there, it was like glass cases, you know, with a jewellery and all that. And he looks over the old man's shoulder. He says, "I think you want to go and get some backup, like, you know what I mean?" As corny as it sounds, and my old man went, "Here's my backup, mate." You know what I mean? And I'll be straight with you. He would have been more than happy to let it off, you know. I mean, when he got released from Downview, my old nan, she's only a little woman.
It was me, Jimmy Huzzy, and Tommy Wisby.
What, in Downview?
Because Downview just opened. That's got to be 1991.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, 1 minute.
It would have been, but he might have come after.
Yeah,
I saw them ones that, I saw them 3 times along before the 90s.
Yeah.
Go on, Jamie, anyway. Don't interrupt, son.
No.
No, leave that for now. God, so he was in Downsview, he came out.
Yeah, well, he was on home leave.
He was on home leave.
Yeah, he was on home leave. And we went up the Albion, on the A13, right?
Yeah.
And people were different back then, they were proper people, weren't they?
Yeah.
You know, you get looked after.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, my old man had a roll of money like that. You know what I mean?
Always.
Where people would go, "Yeah, Dale, crash, sort that, you know what I mean? This and that." And at the end, it was me, Marie, and Dion, which is my 2 sisters.
Yeah.
And my cousin Mark, he's lifed off now.
Yeah.
He got 24 about 4 years ago, and lovely man. You know, I think my dad had a lot to do with the way things turned out. And, you know, as it happens, the story I'm going to tell you about it was to do with him. And what happened was, my nan lived on the district line, you know, the back of the district line in Elm Park.
Yeah.
And there was some tennis courts next door to her. And my dad's gone to drop me and my sisters off.
Yeah.
And we pulled up, like, anyway, Mark's got out and he's gone up. There's a skip there, like, he's going to have a piss up the skip, right? And I don't know why I never asked to go to my nan's, but anyway, people in there have obviously sort of like said something to him. He's give it the big one because my old man's there, you know what I mean? And they've clumped him, give him a few digs and that, but it was just the way he said it, the old man, you know. The little nan, like, you know, he's gone, "Valerie," he said, "you got a kitchen knife in there, girl?" Anyway, right, my nan's gone, "Dell, leave it out, will ya?" Anyway, he's gone in there, and that Gary Holes, I'll say another thing about him, but my old man, he's gone in the front of this transit, and he's grabbed a big lump of metal, whatever it was, and he's gone in there, crash, bang, wallop, you know what I mean? Next thing, ambulance, you know, but that was the way of my old man, you know. People
used saying for chopping up people.
I mean, he said to me, you know, it might sound terrible, but
it is terrible.
He said to me, he said, "Boy," he says, "listen to me." He says, "If you cut a man up," he said, "it's just like cutting up a bit of chicken, boy." You know, I mean, he said, in the end, he sort of head went, not went, but like, he said to me, he said, "I was on this bit of land, and I think I know where it was, right? But I'm not 100% so I won't say." But it was on this bit of land, and my old man, he pointed out and he says, Jane, you see that fella there? He says, he buried a fella and his boy over here. And he said, if you were with me, like, he said, if you were, sorry, Jan, he said, if you were with me, that's probably what would happen with us, you know what I mean? It was just...
He said bad stuff sometimes.
He saw off a Winchester pump-action shotgun on the dining room table. You know, I met a geezer in Wood Hill. You don't mind me keep rubbing it on, do you?
No, I want you to.
Yeah. I met a geezer in Wood Hill, right? His name was Chris Wilson. A ginger fella. Yeah, he used to have it with a fella called Jeff Monroe. Jeff Monroe used to serve up, like, in a big way, like, you know, big lumps of the white and all that, you know. Yeah. And he's heard my name, he's heard Croxson, like, I think it was 2B in Woodhill. Anyway, he's gone, they've got Croxson. Anyway, this fella's come over, he says, Croxson, he says, where are you out of, and all that. And I says, well, originally Rainham and all that. He says, you got family, Del, have you got a family member, Del, and all that? I said, yeah, it's me dad. He went, come get banged up with me, anyway.
That's how it used to work.
Yeah, listen, it would, didn't it, Yam? You know, because, I mean, the jails nowadays, I mean, like my brother in there, he's stomped. You know, he's not my brother, but he's like a brother to me. Yeah. And, but anyway, I've got banged up with him. Yeah. And anyway, he's told me about his story, right? This Jeff Monroe. My old man used to phone these people up, right? And all the lumps off them, yeah? And then when it turned up, my old man just gone, thank you, take it. You know what I mean? Anyway, this Chris Wilson said to me, he says, one day, he says, I drove back to the Mardyke estate, like, on the A13, right? He said, it was fucking pissing it down with rain. He says, your old man was sitting on the top of this grass hill with his legs together like a Buddha, right? He had this big long coat on. Yeah. Anyway, right, he's come over to Chris and he's gone, yeah, Chris, this is when the phone first came, it must be about 92. He's gone, phone Jeff up, I'm going to kill him. Right? And this Chris Wilson, he's asked for that, like, you know what I mean? Anyway, they've gone up to the flat, like, and Chris is putting in that, he's got the wrong number and all that, and the old man took the phone off him. He says, yeah, he's rung up Jeff, yeah? And Jeff's got, like, he knew something was up, you know what I mean? He knew my old man was out, and he never ended up, but in the end, he gave me dad 10 grand, you know, to leave me alone. Because what happened was, in the end, I mean, he was phoning people up for bits, because the white done him, you know, the crack. I mean, I spoke to his wife, you know, not my mother, the one after, like, you know.
Yeah.
And someone said to me, they reckon he spent £2 million in 4 years on the white, yeah.
Oh, James, what, have I got this right? Weren't there a court case when you was younger, where he was with me and he was at the Bailey? I thought your mum, there was a case with...
Yeah, my mum was up. No, my mum was up.
What case was that?
That was an armed robbery charge.
Wait, how old was you then?
5 or 6.
So that's what he was on.
Yeah. Because what they done was...
yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah,
go back into the early
stuff. What happened was, when we lived in Rainham, the old BT men, like, but they were on the Masonettes, but they were, you know, they were under Obbo, like. My old man was under Obbo. Yeah. And the flying squad, they're all over him, like, you know, at that time, yeah. And they've ended up doing me my yard, like. Yeah. And my mum, like, clued up, you know, she's got rid of the money. Right. Yeah. But anyway, they all got nicks. But what happened was, they went to do this job, and the old bill were there waiting for him.
Yeah. Never got taken out, mate.
Well, Terry Marley.
Terry Marley.
Yeah. Well,
I was going to ask you about him.
Terry. Because what happened was, the fella's name was Dave Tricks, right? I heard of
him as well.
Yeah. He was out of Canning Town originally. I remember going around there as a kid, like, you know, and he went QE on my old man, you know. Yeah, my old man, what happened was, my mum was in court and all, because she was on a conspiracy charge. Yeah?
Yeah, go on.
And, yeah, she was on a conspiracy charge, and my old man, obviously, you know, as you would, he went guilty, you know, because you know, he didn't want my mum going in it, because she was looking at a bird, my mum.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, and...
firearms charges as well.
Listen, Dad pictures of her with like guns and all. You know, I mean, to be honest, Jan, but he done the right thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Which he would.
Which he would, Jan. That's right. You know, I mean, my man weren't worried about a bit of bird. I mean, no one wants to do a bit of bird, but he weren't worried about a bit of bird.
Definitely not.
You know, and there's one thing I know, Jan. As a kid, he brought me up. You know, it's grasses, old Bill. You know, but he said to me, with old Bill, James, he says, you know, don't listen to these other mugs, tell him to fuck off, this, that, and the other. He says, James, just wave, walk on, yeah. He says, because I tell you what, he says, all them mugs that, you know, go on, fuck off you, and all that. He says, listen, they'll just make it hard work for you.
And then, mates, like, sometimes they've got something to hide, because you don't really need to say anything to bring it on top or make him have any bad feelings. It's like him with the staff in there. He used to just go, sweet Del,
That's
sweet
it.
thing, sweet Gov. There's no conversation much, just keep it as it is. Keep it proper. You're not really doing anything, are you? And you're getting your own way anyway. If you get what I mean. Sometimes little words and a little bit of respect is more threatening than being shouty-wouty and all that kind of stuff, James. 100%.
Definitely.
I learned that off him, actually, from the old school. When it did during the younger days.
Do you mind if I smoke?
You do exactly what you want, mate. James, who in the younger days, who was around it, like round about those early days, would you say he was close to? He was close. Terry Marley, you're talking about. I got a letter from Marley, but we'll go into that in a minute. Yeah. Who else? Terry Marley, remember?
Danny Willard. Well, I say they were close. They weren't. I wouldn't say they were close. I mean, Danny says like he's like, you know, he looks at my old man as a son, sort of thing.
Danny Willard.
Yeah.
Willand.
Yeah. I mean, I met Danny. I used to go to he had a shop in East Ham.
He wrote a book, didn't he? He wrote a book.
Yeah, he did. I've got some of it here. Yeah, I've got some of it here. He did write a book. Wee Dad, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And he talks about the old man and that, about, you know, about him and Barry, like, you know, Barry Dalton. Yeah, because my old man and Barry were banged up with him. My old man used to do the corner for Barry.
Yeah, they were close.
They were.
To me, I never met Barry, but I'm just saying that I heard they was proper close.
They were.
Was it true Barry was serving up and using it against them a little bit in the end?
Do you know what, right? I think he got a bit in the nick, right? You know what they say in the book. My old man was always the governor, like, you know. I say governor. You know, my old man, he was always the one who said what happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Final say.
Yeah.
If they ever wanted anything, they're going there first.
Not trying to make a big thing out of him.
There's no disputes about that.
But the thing with Barry, I think he was a bit of a bully.
Right.
You know, that's the sort of that's the impression I got. You know. He was very, you know, he was very with his mouth, like, and all that, you know, and I think he just went too far with my old man, you know.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Jan, you know, right, my old man with his fists, you know, he could have a bar, you know, 100%. No two ways about it. I'm not saying he's the hardest man out there. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But it'd kill you. You know what I mean, Jan? He would kill you, mate. You know what I mean? He wouldn't lose no sleep over it.
No.
You know,
he basically, are we saying that in the end it came to an end with Barry Dalton?
Yeah.
And he took him out.
Yeah. And
there was ending.
It is sad.
I always, because I remember little bits and bobs, Jay, but I wanted to clarify that because I thought he was on remand in Lincoln for that, but he wasn't, was he? He was on remand for another shooting, which I totally forgot about because I always thought there was 2 murders or something. That, but obviously I can't remember absolutely everything.
No.
But explain what happened there in Lincoln for that case. Oh, that's where. Oh no, that was up. Yeah, did you go on? Explain that.
Yeah. Well, as it happens, because like I said, we moved up here. I'll go into that more later why we moved up here.
Right.
But with that thing in Lincoln, I was at my nan's at Woburn Avenue in Elm Park, and my old man. He used to take me out of him all the time when I used to come down and see him. But he said to me, he says, James, he said, I've got to go away for a couple of days, like, you know, I'm doing a bit of work for someone, you know, and in the end, I knew it was something, I knew it weren't work, you know what I mean? And
terminology.
Yeah. And he's gone to Lincoln to scare someone, like, you know. I don't know if it was a debt or whatever, but my old man's gone up. It was on the telly as it happens, not long back. He was on the telly not long back. And what happened was my old man's knocked on the door.
Yeah.
The other fellas didn't even know what they were doing. Apparently, you know, the old man's knocked on the door and he said, you know, is the grass there, like, you know, or something along them lines. Anyway, a woman's answered. Anyway, she's closed the door and the fella stuck his head out the top window. And the old man with a 9mm gone bang like that.
Fuck.
He's hit him in the head, and it's gone round the back of his head and come out the other side. You know, he didn't kill him.
No.
You know, mental, isn't it? You know, mental.
Yeah, go on, carry on, Jane.
And then, but he got back to London, like Essex. You know,
Yeah.
he got back and. People give him some dough and all that to lay on the low, like, you know, for a little while. But then what happened? How he got nicked on that last thing from Belmarsh. My auntie Linda, his sister, was.
Did he go on remand for the Lincoln thing?
Yeah.
And he beat it.
Nah.
He got burned for it.
Nah, he was still waiting.
Oh, so then he got the other thing, the Belmarsh thing. So he was on his toes at that time.
Yeah. What happened was. They nicked him, and he went Belmarsh.
He went Belmarsh.
He was on the unit.
Double
A carried him off, yeah. And he was waiting. He died in the August, 93. But he was waiting to get moved to the unit in Hull. They used to have a unit in Hull.
Control unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously that never happened. And what happened with the old man, you know, he phoned up his new wife, like, not my mother.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What's her name? Lynn.
Then Mott, like.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
He rang her up and he said he didn't feel right and all that, you know, on the phone. And I'd already been to see him, you know, a couple of days before. And they found him in the cell, like, he was purple and he was sick everywhere, you know. And they rushed him to Greenwich Hospital. I say rushed him to Greenwich Hospital. I mean, you know, you imagine what he's getting out of a normal unit in Belmarsh, how long it's going to take to get off a normal unit, you know, let alone double ACAT on the special unit, you know, so I wouldn't imagine he got off there but they rushed him to Greenwich Hospital and, he died there. But they never buried him, for about 16, 18 months.
All right, James. You know? So, James, you know that you're having obviously, you know, you miss your dad and all that. Now.
Yeah.
I mean, like in those early bits when, you know, he was back and forth, he was with your mum at first. I mean, like, you missed a lot of him from, you say about the early first 5-6 years, and you saw bits of him, he always used to pop round, you had some tender moments with him.
Yeah.
But how being like the son, and when you get older, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you start hearing proper stories and it becomes more, you know, conclusive to you what kind of active role your father plays in the underworld criminal fraternity, how does it feel living your life that way? Because it's not the right way to be brought up, really, as a son, is it, to see all that? But unfortunately, we all went through it. But I mean, what do you miss? Do you didn't want him to be like that, or it was what it was, and I mean, what would you have liked to have said to him? I know you've got a letter there, his final letter. We'll read that near the end of this this chat that we're having. But I mean, you didn't get to see, because he was away quite a lot of time.
Yeah, like I said, you know, I never see him.
And you were still visiting right up until what age was you with the Belmarsh thing?
I was 15 when he 15? Died. Like, yeah. It ruined me. It ruined me. You know. I mean, before. I mean, like I said, you know, everyone was, that's Dell's boy, you know, this and that, you know, Orme Church, Romford and all that.
Big send off at the funeral.
Yeah.
I had a long. I've heard
he was David and Stephen were they were right at my dad's grave, you know, through the saw and that. You know, and I think David.
Everyone was there.
They were.
Everyone was there.
They were. I mean, it was unreal.
What about all these fucking? Sorry, James.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
These the certain talk that you was kind of pissed off with, which was one of the reasons why we got involved with each other, James, online, and because, you know, I was the first to bring up your dad's name.
He was.
As usual, and straight away, you went like that. You're the only man who's got into a team.
Yeah, you have,
right?
yeah.
And then, James, what was Bronson? What's all that? What was all that about Bronson? Because I've never heard nothing like
No,
that.
well,
The Longfellow, everyone's involved, and we're going to go into some of the names in a minute. No one's ever mentioned your dad's name as being a loose talker. I didn't understand what you was on about.
Well, I've got two
So what's Charlie on about now?
I've got two.
Head?
Yeah,
You
I know.
what I mean?
Yeah, it is as
Not
well.
page
Yeah,
two, because I used to see him around Del when I was a little kid as well. He was another one.
Yeah.
When Del used to say things too.
He's
So
gone-
not
he's
that
doing-
Charlie was really like shit scared of him, but he wouldn't. Another one who wouldn't answer back, and I've already explained this to you. Like,
I mean,
already, like, what did you mean? This one's off Terry Marley, James.
Yeah, I mean the thing with Charlie, right?
What was it?
I wrote to him. I wrote to him, and because Terry said, you know, you old man and Frankie Fraser, they used to walk around the yard in Wandsworth
Yep.
together and all that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I wrote to Charlie. I'll tell you what it was. I said thanks. One of his books, he says about me, old man. He said a little thing for my dad when my dad died and all that, and respect to him for that.
Yeah. Okay.
But then I got another letter off him, and he said, you know, along the lines of, you know, he was talking too much, this, that, and the other, right? But listen, let me tell you something, right? Yeah, that one thing, and on art, right? I know my old man never was a wrong 'un, yeah, a grass.
See, this was the first I ever. When I read that, I just thought to myself, now he's got a habit of dropping things.
Yeah.
No one. I've spoke to absolutely everyone over the years. I remember looking at the Longfellow straight in the face one day, and I called 5 names. I went like that. Del Croxson. He burst out laughing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You know, he went. I loved him, but the 5 names I mentioned before
Nothing.
that, nothing.
No. Now, Dave.
So that, you know, because you know the Longfellow thing, you know, like, so I'm not going to say anything more.
No,
but I don't get apart from that, Charlie, we love you, but I don't understand how you could have wrote that in a letter when there's no evidence or anything that's ever been suggested from anyone in any cases or anything that he's from Del, and he definitely wasn't like that. And those that know. So just James, don't even hold on to that.
No.
I don't know why I'm disappointed in him for saying that.
Do you know
what did Terry say? Let's get round to what Terry Marley says about certain things.
Terry, when my dad got that 7.5,
Yeah.
Obviously this fella that went QE against me old man.
Yeah.
Terry, you know, sort of dealt with a few things with him, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, this Dave, he had a big pond of koi carp, like, and all that, you know. Yeah. Terry went round there and threw a car battery in there and all that. You know, and
fearless, wasn't he, Terry?
Terry, I met a geezer.
Didn't really know him that well, but them, look, the way they talk.
Terry was an handful. Yeah, Terry was an handful. I was speaking to a fellow, as it happens again, in the Nick, and he was talking about Terry, and he says, I don't really like talking about him. He says, I see him once. He said he tied a fellow to a chair, and he was smashing glass ashtrays in his face, and they were a different breed back then, yeah.
Him and Roy Shaw had a fight, I think.
They did. They did have a fight.
Where was it again?
Romford.
That was the Romford one. Yeah. Jail. I told you a different way.
Al Webb was there as well. I don't know if you know Al Webb.
No, I know you talk. I know of him.
He's got a couple of bars in Hornchurch now.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, Terry done him, like Roy. I mean, give it to Roy. He was a bit older. Yeah, you know. Okay. But I mean, I've seen Roy personally. You know, I was in the Palms one night. You know, the Palms in Upminster. I don't know if you know. No, I was in there. He was in there. He's only a short fella, Roy. You know, you'd think you know. But anyway, Terry done him. But apparently, my old man smashed him to pieces in the Church Elms Boxing Club.
Right.
Black Matthew, Thomas.
Yeah, they were pretty close at once.
They were.
They liked each other. I think they had a row in there. I don't know if it's something. I think he had a row with Mark Cooper as well.
He did, yeah. I mean,
but Del never really lost one.
No, he didn't. I mean, what if it's Terry Marley? You know, if I was to listen to anyone, Terry was a proper fella. You know what I mean? What he said, you know what I mean? He wouldn't have said it if he didn't know.
No.
You know, he wouldn't have just gone off someone saying, oh, this happened with Del and this other fella. You know, he wouldn't say it unless it was gospel. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, like I asked, you know, been stories and that about the old man. And he says, you know, Matthew, he done Matthew, you know.
Matthew could have a right round.
Yeah, British kickboxing champion. You know, I don't know what happened between them because they were very close.
It might have just been one of those scuffly kind of hip.
Yeah,
they're both temper. I don't know Matthew as well as I know Del.
Yeah.
But he might be on the show soon, Matthew. But I don't, you know, either way, we don't.
I know they were close.
That's what Terry says. But, you know, it might have been a draw. They might have just got stopped. Yeah. I don't know. But my money, you know, it wouldn't be either way because it would be a terrible, terrible fight.
Oh, it would, yeah.
You know, you just wouldn't want to be there, would you?
No.
You'd be having a laugh.
I mean,
imagine trying to get in the middle of that. got to be able to joke. Dill was afraid. He was a beast of a fucking animal.
I was in Hornchurch. I was in Hornchurch with a fella called Gary Furlin, right? And he was a plasterer. I used to go plastering with him. And there's a cafe in Hornchurch. Do you know Johnny Nelson, Jesse Nelson?
I know, I've heard of him.
Yeah. Johnny my old man done a thing for him, like got him out a bit of bother.
Yeah.
He's got that Jesse Nelson of that pop band, what them?
No, I've heard about
it. Yeah.
You talk,
But anyway, we went into his cafe one day, and Gary, as we walked in, Gary Furlin's gone, yeah, I just come back to haunt you, like that, right? Saying to me. Anyway, this fella's sitting on a bench eating a bit of breakfast with a few fellas. And he's got half his ear hole missing, right? Anyway, I said, what are you talking about? Like, he said, that's that fella. He said, your old man bit his ear off. Anyway, what happened was he was in the Ball pub in Hornchurch.
Right.
This was back when they were younger.
Yeah.
And they used to go down, they used to fight all the bikers and all that. And
go on, Jane, what happened?
Anyway, right, this Reg, I can't remember his surname, but he's outside the pub, it's pitch black, right? He says, the next fella coming out, I'm going to do him around the canister with his fucking scat bar, right? Anyway, because it's dark and all that, someone's walked in, it was my old man walked out, and he's gone crash straight around the canister to my old man. My old man's fell down to one knee like that, you know what I mean? Got back up again. Anyway, he's grabbed this Reggie, yeah, and he was trying to throw him under a bus, right? But he said he was like a baby, he had his leg wrapped around my old man like that. So my old man's bit his ear off. But
Gordon Bennett, Paulie.
Listen, do you know another fella, Jozzy, a black fella, used to live on the Mardyke. He a bird over there, Tonya Kings, used to serve up the white and the dark and all that. And this Jed McLaughlin, he was robbing her, and she's paid my old man to sort
it out.
Yeah, and anyway, Jozzy said it made me sick, Jamie. He says what your old man done to him. You know, he said it was, you know, it was scary. You know what I mean?
Maybe Terry was a bit of a team then too.
Do you know what, right?
Was it Terry that told you about the Lenny McLean thing?
Yeah.
What did he say?
A couple of people told me about the Lenny thing. Yeah.
I got mine. I told mine a little bit about probably another time, but
yeah. I mean, I think I was a lot to go on. I don't know if because Terry gave me a video once, a VHS, right, and it was a fight, a bare knuckle fight, and it was Barry fighting, but my old man was in his corner, and I think because Barry and Lenny had a falling out,
right.
I think Barry shot Lenny. I'm sure he did.
Someone told me this.
Yeah, I'm sure he shot Lenny.
Right.
I'm sure he shot Lenny. And because Terry got shot in the jaw, did you know about that?
That's what I mean. You tell me.
Apparently that was something to do with Lenny and all. I mean, I won't go into too much, but I think that Barry going, there was a robbery. They're robbing some people or something, but I think there was more to do with it. You know, within regards of Lenny and all that.
Right.
You know,
well, it has to be.
Because Barry, whatever you say, he had good connections. The Southern Command and all that. Yeah. He weren't no cunt, like, you know what I mean. But the thing is, it didn't have to be like that. Yam, with him and my dad. He took. I don't know why, but he must have took something as weakness in my dad, which was a mistake.
But oh, sorry, John.
It was a mistake because my dad. I see the way he was. He was psychotic. You know what I mean? But he weren't a bully. He used to do runs. I mean, that there, as it happens, that was a run for handicaps, like, He
was with me, that's near Downview.
Yeah.
Men cap.
Yeah, that's that.
I got the pictures, I put it up. Remember that one, Bob? I got one on my community page. He was there with me, with Frank Rudd and Joey Olive. running around. I've got the picture on my community
I've got another
page
one.
of Downsview. He was
Yeah,
with me.
yeah.
He was with me for 4 years running, Dill was. I was in, like, I run the Banstead Marathon, the wheelchair sponsor.
That's it.
I was there.
Yeah.
I've got it on my community page. Remember, with all the boys. I've seen it's on my community. That's it. He was there. I knew when you said it earlier. I
Yeah.
said, Dill was there, but he was on the bottom wings, A wing. Because when I got the Queen's pardon in 89, Downsview just opened, and Dill was on the bus. I'm so slow. I can't remember everything. But there he is, the great man. That was my boy, that was. Yes, I remember. I was there. It's on my community page now.
Is it? Oh,
yes,
let's have a look. Yeah,
it's on there.
Yeah, because that Downsview is a bird's nick now, isn't it?
No, it's birds. It turned birds after
Yeah, that's
building
right.
an eye
After,
down across the road
yeah.
at that time. But the story, anyway, let's stick to... Because Danny Willard says some stuff in his book, Jane. But you do another thing you weren't happy with. I've read a little bit of it, and I'm thinking, look, the relationship between him and your dad, Dill, that little bit in there, like, what did you reckon it signifies, really, that he says... I mean, we've got to talk straight on the MBC.
Oh, no, come on, mate.
Where is it? Where's the bit where I wanted to read about what he said, and because it tells me, it sounds like more like he was
He was
like
like
the
the boy,
he was like the boy.
But
hold on a minute, this is contrary to what I know and what I saw.
This was Chance Vanix. He threw a bar of soap at Judge Greenwood, I think it was then.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
That
It was. Yeah, wait. Drugs
it?
were
Where is it?
for what with my old man and.
When Danny Willard was saying, I had to go and have a word with Dell.
Yeah. It was
Where's that bit there in the book? Because he says it in the book.
Have a look at that one, yeah.
Someone showed me that yesterday. Barry's car was driven to the... Oh, look. Dill was desperate for money. Right. Your work was your rig together with the information we could buy. Everyone would have a go at armed these drug dealers and dangerous. The only problem was Barry and Dill were both involved. Both were on drugs, and hatred was building between them. The idea... So this is what Danny Woolen says, but... You're just a fucking idiot. I would then scum like you.
Yeah, 30 pence, yeah.
He tries to boy off Dill
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So Barry's saying, well, I mean, Danny Woolen's saying, but he's saying he had to, where did he have to, before judgment, Barry finishing off his 5 year, I remember that.
You know what? He says it here somewhere. What he says is...
He says that he had to have a word. They were both getting out of bed,
Yeah.
basically, and they were both over the top.
That's it.
And I had to go and have a word with...
And it was nothing like that.
It
was nothing like that.
I mean, Danny was pretty close, but Danny was a lorry driver.
He was, originally.
He didn't do no big bird.
No. I mean, because my dad's mum, Pat Smith, she married him, and that's what you said about me dad's brother.
So I said, who's that? The step brother?
Paul.
Paul brothers. I thought they were in Build a Bombs Corner. Because one of them, someone suggested to me,
my old man couldn't stand him.
Okay.
You know, because
he
he used to... Again, like, you know, not saying my old man was anything special, I'm not, but he used to play, you know, on Dells, and he used to try and take liberties with people. Right. My old man put a screwdriver through his hand.
Right.
You know, Paul, his name was. But anyway, how it got about with Danny Willard is my dad's mum, Pat Smith, she married a fellow called Ray, and he was very close with Danny Willard. You know, and... Because I said about this this thing in here, and my old nan said, "You're joking, ain't you?" Yeah. She said, "Fucking hell, he wouldn't have dreamed of saying anything like that to your old man, Danny."
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But I think when people die, you know, people are very quick to stick their 50 pence worth in all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I always try and keep in respect. Whatever I couldn't say, whatever I said to them while I was alive, and how I felt about them when they were alive, I'm going to speak the same as if they were in front of me.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what I say. Because that interest as well, I was going to ask you as well, there's a rumour about when we was in Swellside, when me and Pat say it was Jim Audley, there was something, because I remember, I can't swear to it, but I could have sworn that I had to tell Dill, drop it out, please Dill, for me.
Oh, Pat was...
What happened again? Because remember, because Pat come to me, there was a little misunderstanding, but I can't put it all together properly. But Dill said had a few words with Pat, but Pat kind of looked up to Dill, didn't really argue with him.
No. Fucking hell, no. And he wouldn't, you know. I don't think Pat was really that way anyway. He was a big lad. He was a big lad.
Good, happy go lucky. He was more bigger version.
Yeah,
he but they get him. I'd laugh at him.
He weren't like us, you know.
Well, you know, that's where the incident happened. We got stabbed in the leg in Swellside during that Dill. I think it was Dill that pulled him out because Pat Tate had a fight in Swellside, right, with a couple of geezers. Pat was backing a couple of geezers. One of the geezers was from South London, right, Jane? Your dad was there. This is the story that I got. I've never really told it. But Pat got involved for 2 Essex young kids who get kind of bullied. Pat got involved, but they patted about 2 or 3 of them on him, and they was all on the floor, and Pat got stabbed in the leg. Because we was in Wayland later on, further down the line. This was me and George Constantino. We was in Wayland later on, and the geezer that stabbed Patrick and Pat Tate in the leg came to Wayland, right?
Where was he out of, yeah?
He was out of South London, but what I'm saying is your dad, apparently, when he got stabbed during that time, he was the one that pulled him kind of out of the rough and the thing. So I always thought he kind of liked Pat.
Yeah, well, they were.
They were all right.
They were, but, you know, I'll tell you what he told me. It was me dad's sister's old man. He told me about, you know, Pat. He says, you know, so, you know, I said about when the Essex boys happened, because it was a couple of years after my dad died.
It was.
You know, and Graham, his name is. He said, listen, you know, I said, what him and my old man? He said, oh, petrified of the old man, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's there's so much, Jan. There's so much, you know.
So for that case in the last bit in Belmarsh, where he sadly passed away, he'd have got life off, do you reckon? He would have got buried for that case, do you reckon?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't know.
Had the link, that would have been joint.
Yeah. I mean, they said to my mum at the Old Bailey.
Yeah.
Because Stevie Steff was up the Old Bailey with my old man as well on his armed robbery charge, where this Dave Tricks went to QE.
Yeah.
Anyway, when they were interviewing my dad and Stevie Steff, every time Stevie Steff never answered, because the flying squad, they didn't fuck about them.
I'm saying they come from. I know what it's like.
Yeah.
The red dots on me. It's all shit in it. Yeah. And this is years. The devil was going through this long before me.
I mean, they didn't fuck about.
They was different back then, even worse.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't like these soppy old Bill today, were they? You know. But anyway, every time Stevie Steff didn't answer a question, I was smashing his head off the table. Yeah. Anyway, my old man's gone fucking come in here and, you know what I mean, try that with me, like, you know. Anyway, when I gone court the next day, Timmy Steff, Stevie's brother, has fucking, like, put it on his old bill, because Stevie's head was fucking out here, like, you know. But I can't remember what I was getting to there, yeah.
No, he's talking about at the trial when you got nicked.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to ask you, sorry, Jamie, what was that Peter Esposito? He weren't IRA.
Pete Pasito.
Who was that again?
He was like...
He's nothing to do with the Irish?
Nah.
They were friends. He was heavy.
Yeah, he was lifed off.
Yeah,
lifed off.
Yeah.
But because at the time in Belmarsh, I mean, originally, nowadays it holds a lot of the terrorists, like, doesn't it? You know, but back then it was IRA, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, early 90s. Like, and my old man, you know, he was close with a lot of them people. You know, they used to write back and forwards to each other.
Yeah.
You know, but that was the thing with him, you know. He's
on all sides. From what I saw in jail, I told everyone a long time ago that the front man, where the prison stuff.
Yeah, you did.
Tell us a bit about. Because I'm hearing through the grapevine. I used to know back then little bits because Roy Hilder was around me and he was Freddie Foreman's kind of bestie. But I heard that Del and Freddie Foreman were probably really, really close.
Yeah, I can remember. I mean, before I even knew who Freddie Foreman was, you know.
Yeah.
You know, my old man used to talk about him, and they, you know, they were close. You know, I mean, it's the same with, you know, the long fella. You know. You know, in Dagenham at still, like, you know, pictures of my old man. Apparently, you know, they were, I mean, at David's funeral, you know, Dave was a very quite, you know, if he don't want to be put about, which is right. I mean, you know, he does his, he does his pigeons and all that. You know, he goes with my dad's uncle, like, you know, he does the pigeons and all that. But yeah, I've got a lot of respect for, you know.
Would you say out of everyone? Because I heard it. I know in fact that Del was pretty close to Patsy Adams and Tommy Adams.
He was,
They were all right.
Yeah.
But if you said a man that, because he never really took orders of anyone, Del. He never really. If there was anyone around that you knew, that who do you think he would answer to? Did you look up? There's always someone a general in there.
Of course there is. Yeah, of course there is. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying the old man was the hardest man. But you know, I mean, obviously the long fella. You know, I mean, you know, proper fella. You know what I mean? You know, you see it. I mean, I'd love to meet him. You know, I would have loved to meet him because I knew him. Him and my old man, they were close, and he, like I said, he still has it with my family now. You know, as him, he loved the pigeons, Davey.
Yeah, you would have it with Uncle
Jimmy, like Uncle Jimmy. You know,
but with Freddie Foreman, though, was it because a lot of the names from all over London when I was growing, he's the main name. I mean, I don't know whether you know about the rich and the crazy. It's interesting, but with Freddie, I mean, where do you think that bonding with Del must have been from? Young then.
Yeah.
Because Freddie would have been, because he would have been on the fringes because Del met Reggie Cray. I think he did meet the Crays.
Yeah. I mean, I've got some letters there as it happened saying about, I mean, Terry and my old man were having a laugh, like, and they were saying, oh, watch your bottle and all that, you know, because
this is funny. This is
Reggie and all that.
Wait,
like.
I got this bit here, look, last Saturday, Terry, this is what Terry says, and do it all right. Look, last Saturday, I see that Reggie Cray, who is here now, right? And I was quite surprised, really. He's only small, but then you got to think that he's done 17 years, mate. Surprised you would do, especially when you hear about another 14 to do. I think they should be let out. Oh, now for that they did, I reckon 70s. There's plenty during this. Well, in these times it would have been, wouldn't it? Because it was kind of gangland, really. I mean, it wasn't like normal, everyday Joe public. Surprising to see him do it. It's all the government situation of working craze being a treat to anybody. Anyone describes that, Dale would be saying, yeah, but mind how you bend over though, mate, and all that. The Aristotle, mate, you got to make room. I said that joke once when he's squeezing through the door and you've got to kind of lean out the way because it's a bit touchy-feely.
Yeah.
But Reg was all right, mate.
I remember that. I mean, I read in that Charlie Bronson's book. You know, he wrote, "I've had more porridge than Goldilocks and the Three Bears and all that." But I'll tell you what, right? I've got a letter. Let's have a look. I'll find it quick. Yeah. And my old man said it a long time before that. You know. I think this was. I think this was one of the last letters I got off him. Off my old man, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it was sad, Jan, because I see him. He was a picture of Elf, mate. He was a picture of Elf. You know.
Was that the last one? Was it?
No, the last one was the card, right?
What one?
This one here, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I got it. August '93. I'd only been to see him a couple of days before. We got over on the ferry, like, you know, the Woolwich ferry, and we went there. Like I said, it was only blood relatives, like, you know, because in Belmont, have you been Belmont?
Yeah.
On the unit, have you been?
No, not been on the unit.
No, because it's when you go in there, like, I mean, Charlie Bronson puts it, you know, in a way, it's like something out of a science fiction movie.
Yeah.
You know, because when you go on visits in Belmarsh, you've got like 2 waiting rooms.
Right.
You got one for the general population, right, and then you got one for the unit. I don't know if they still do it now, but they used to come and pick you up in this like electric cart thing, and it used to drive you round the neck and into the unit.
Of course. That's what they do in Whitemore. That's what they do. It's just a prison within a prison. Like you go through the prison, but then you got to go through another set of gates to reach another. It's deep, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's deep.
And it's like when you go in there, like, you know, and you visit him. My old man's sitting there. There's a screw behind my old man, and then there's a screw behind me family, like me dad's sister and my auntie Joni, you know. That visit got cut off short, like, because of the something went off in there anyway, and but yeah, it was the last time I see him, you know. It ruined me, you know. I mean, my mum moved here to Northampton because what happened was. My old man was having other women up the neck, you know. And what happened was the screws did it, like they switched the letters.
I know about that one.
Yeah. You know what I mean,
that's an old trick. Boy.
Yeah. And
that's the ruination of it. I know, go on, carry on.
Yeah, anyway, my mum went up the neck and said, that's it, Del, I'm done. You know, and all that. And he knew, right? He knew he done a wrong move there. You know, he fucked himself there. Because he got remarried. He got remarried in the nick, like, you know. But
that would have been his swell side then.
It probably was, yeah. Yeah, it probably was. Do you know what?
Yeah. Probably. Well, never mind. Go on.
Yeah, but
so mum was definitely her.
Yeah, because we moved up here. Because I mean, my mum was single, like you know.
Yeah.
And my dad got remarried, and my mum like didn't think she'd ever have a proper life. Because it's not that people don't want to be around because of the old man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Nah, yeah.
If she gets it, he's going to be...
That's it, yeah.
It's a mad, but I know a few things like that.
Yeah.
It's mad, but it's all right for you to go and do your shit.
I mean, but I'll give my old man this, right? Yeah. I'll give my old man this. My old man was in the nick at the time.
Yeah.
And in the end, my mum met the fellow she's with now. You know, and I call him Dad. You know, he's been good to me. You know, I've got 2 dads. You know. I mean, obviously Dell's me real dad. But anyway, me mum, we was in Cranham at the time, and someone come I was round the shops with my stepdad, like, and someone's jumped out of the motor and smash bang, well, give him a clump and all that, right? And I was with him. Anyway, someone's got hold of my old man and said, look, this happened. Anyway, Terry, because Terry was out at the time. Terry's, yeah, I mean, these fellas that come round, yeah, I mean, they were fucking, you know, they were kneeling down and all that. We're sorry, and all that, this, that, and the other, you know. But that's why we moved up here to Northampton, you know, because my stepdad, he said, I was petrified of him, you know. He you know, I ain't gonna lie to you. He said I was petrified. He said I used to go out to work in the morning, you know, and I think he'd be out there waiting with a shotgun or a gun to kill me, you know. He took on a big thing, you know.
It's a tall order.
Yeah. It is, Jan, you know.
Jane, what about your crimes? How much time did you? Because like you know, I know you spent a little bit of time in jail. What was that for?
I got. I mean, in the beginning, yeah, I won't lie to you.
No, sweet as. No, more.
Yeah, go on. Yeah. I mean, like I say, when we moved up here, I think my mum moved away from it a lot because of my family. You know, I've got quite a big family down there, you know, and she wanted to move away, give us the best sort of start, like you know, because I mean, I'll be straight, you know, if I'd have stayed there, and my dad hadn't gone a bird, whether he got a bird or not, and still got out, you know, I'd probably either be lifed off or you know, dead or whatever, you know. I know it might sound a bit far-fetched, but it's not, you know, it's not far-fetched. I mean, you go and look at me cousin Mark, you know, he's doing 24 now, you know, for killing a fella. I mean, I like I said, when I come up here, I got on the gear and that, you know, and my mum sort of, not the gear so much, the white was a big thing with my old man, you know. But yeah, I've done a few things, theft net, but I got 3.5 for a GBH with intent. I nearly killed the fella, you know. I'm not proud of it, you know. I was in Northampton one day and the fella's got a bit, I knew the fella, he's got a bit like mouthy and all that, and I've clamped him and nearly killed him, you know. He's gone to hospital and had to put him in a induced coma. Yeah. He had a bleed on the brain and all that, you know. I'm not proud of it, you know, I'm not proud of it, yeah. But yeah, and I got 3, I think 38 months, I think it was, yeah. Right. You know, I went Lincoln, Ranby. I've never done a big bird like, you know.
How long ago was that, Jay?
I got out in 2018, I think.
Well, that's not too long ago.
Nah.
Any kids, Jamie?
Yeah, I got 4.
Married?
Nah, fucking hell, yeah.
One mum? One kid's son?
Nah. Couple, yeah. I mean, my old man, he had 6. He was only 34 when he died.
That's what I mean.
You know? He was a young man.
I didn't get that.
Nah.
Was any theories, really?
Do you know what, right?
On his death, it doesn't make.
Nah, it
for
don't.
a super fit man in prison.
Yeah, I can remember.
Heart attack, bombing around the yard with weights and things.
He used to do 60 mile a week in the nick, running. You know, I mean, I used to fucking, my old man, like, we'd leave the lorry at Elm Park. We'd leave the lorry at Elm Park or whatever, and then he would run up the Dagenham and all that, sprinting up Dagenham and all that. And I was a kid. I mean, he made me box, me dad. You know, as a kid, I used to box for Dagenham East. You know, obviously I left it when I come up here and all that. But, you know, I think about the heart attack thing. You know, some people said to me about paracetamol. They put paracetamol in your grub.
Yeah.
And eventually, like, you end up giving a strawberry, like, an heart attack or whatever, you know.
So it could have been premeditated by somebody else, do you reckon? Could have.
Yeah, I mean...
Didn't make much sense, did it?
Nah. I mean, he was dead 16, 18 months, before the funeral, like, you know. It was very suspicious, mate. I mean, like I said to you, they said to my mum at the Old Bailey, they said, we've got a tin box waiting for Del next time we catch him with a gun, you know, because he was taking liberties, you know, with guns and all that, firing and shooting. I mean, one day, like, they've done a thing and he's out the window shooting at old Bill and all that, you know. He's, I mean, he'd done the GI, like, I mean, there's some comical things, you know, I could tell you about the old man.
Seriously, game.
You know.
He never gave a toss, man.
He didn't, but...
I think he was a sad man deep down.
Yeah. I think he was...
he always done it. It was other people's wars, a lot of it.
It was, Jan. It was. It was always someone else. It was always someone else. Like that time I told you with me nan in the tennis courts, like, you know. It was my cousin. But, you know, Gary Oles has come and said to me, old man, not that he went in there and sorted it.
No.
You know, it was always my old man, or they'd stand behind my old man, and, you know.
It's mad, and you'll take it on.
Yeah, he did. Like same with Barry Dalton, you know, with Barry Dalton. They said, you know, he used to do Barry's corner, Barry would phone my old man up, you know, if he was in a bit of bother with something, and my old man used to go to Barry, not ask for a pound, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, he was a good man. He was a good man, you know. I mean, people are quick to judge, you know, with the drugs and all that, you know.
No. Everyone had to go. Roy Alden, I used to witness it all, the age group above a few years. And they used to, he picked up them habits from jail.
He did,
That's what happened to me.
Yeah, was it?
But yeah, because I was there when he first touched it. I remember who gave it to him as well, and I remember them lot, Roy Alden, all Johnny, everyone was screaming that the geezer that give it to him. I remember I was in a 4-up with his side, and when he was gym orderly. I remember because when I first went to Guy Got Started, 86, he was already there, and then he came back again, and I was at 88, 89, and the Queen's Pardon, and he came and backed that, defended that for me. Then it was Downsview, then popped in Swell Son, and I started to grow a little bit, and he said, yeah, you've changed. Blah, blah. That's what the Longfellow said to me in later life as well. He goes, you're not that little sweet boy no more. I'll never forget what he hated bullies, didn't he? He's like Sammy Argent. Yeah. He's a field rescuer of the vulnerable, the weak. He gets a bit funny, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I don't like a bully,
No, the old school don't really trouble no one for no reason, no. You can't, it wasn't that way. They wait till you say something, but they don't, like, pick. If you don't want to know, they don't. It's not like it is now.
No. I mean, he hated a bully, my dad, you know. I mean, Peter Mackay, he was another one, like, from down there.
Yeah.
My old man, you know, put it all over him.
He was in the unit.
Who, Peter?
Is that the geezer? No.
No, Peter Mackay.
No.
He's dead now. He went to God and all that, you know, born again and all that.
Yeah.
But
hearing his name.
Yeah, Peter, he was an old man. He killed a couple of people in Barking, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, Lee Walpole? No.
Can't remember bits and bobs.
Yeah. But he had a bit of a thing with my old man. Well, not a thing, like, my old man. Did. Yeah. But, I took Carsey again.
Yeah, go on, Carsey. Yeah. We'll have a little break. Let me see if I have a look through that.
Yeah, go on.
You know me, Uncle Yummy, don't edit nothing. Just do it. Sweet. But this is a sad card.
Is it alright, yeah? Has you been going?
It's alright, Jane. Go and do it. I ain't pausing it. Go to the toilet and come back, boy. Wait, hold on, look. So, this is a real sad. That's the Charlie Bronson card there, right? and donuts is there. Charlie says they say they say weird stuff sometimes at the most inappropriate of times. Yami says, when his dad dies, I heard that you're going to say that to his son, are you? You know what I mean? You've got to talk straight sometimes. And who's that? Look forward to that fight. Bruno. Oh yeah, that was Bruno Kutzer, yeah. So this is, oh yeah, that was Maidstone when Pat Tate had the fight with Mickey Riley. You see? Didn't say that. There were some other bits and bobs in there, mate. That was, oh yeah, that was High Point. Yeah, it's very sad. Because you got to look at it, you know what I mean? The son grows up, his dad's household name is not the best kind of ringing, and he wants more time with him, and people are saying this and that when he's dead, he's like the ump and anything, you know, he speaks what he heard and what he saw, basically, and I think we'll have that as a part one, and that very emotional. He talks about the final letter he's got that. See, I didn't think of these things. He's got the final memory of when his dad wrote for the Dear Jamie, first of all, son, I hope you are fit and well, as I am fine here. Thank you for your letter, plus photos. They were lovely. My love to all at home, especially you, Marie, Dion. I am still training hard. You ought to try and get into a bit of training, boxing. You don't have to box, but do the training. I'll take you with me, okay? I love you, Jamie, more than you could know. Miss you too, boy. Well, I'll sign off now. God bless. All my love. Dad, that was the final letter. How about that? Fucking hell. Oh, well. You know what? I think we'll leave that as a part one.
Yeah.
Part one, James. I'm proud of you for
Yeah.
letting that out. There was much more I need to talk about. I've been travelling all morning. But
do you know,
really proud of anything. I love you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I love your dad as well.
No, I know you did, mate. And everything you say, honest truth.
But anything else you need letting out before we leave it for a part two another time, because I've got other things I need to ask, but my brain, I wasn't expecting these.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was quite a quick thing anyway, wasn't it?
It was a quick thing, yeah.
You know, I mean, I spoke to you the other day. I mean, I know I've been sending messages backwards and forwards, but I mean, like I said to you, you know, what you say.
Big up the family and you said no.
No, the same. Yeah, but what with you, what you say, you know, I remember things. See, so I know that what you say. Is, you know,
everyone says that to me.
Because
it rings bell. That's why a lot of people,
because I'll be straight. You'd be the same. If I was saying things that didn't make sense and all that, you know, it don't make good content, mate. You know,
don't make good content.
You know, but like I say, you know, everything you've said, you know, has rung home, like, you know.
All right.
But
I had loads more. I'll tell you mine.
Mine is like I said.
No, I'm a bit taken aback, but you know what I mean. Big love to you, boy.
Yeah.
Sad loss, too early. Big up your whole family, kids, everybody. And when I come back for part two, you know, we're just doing all our little warm-up things.
Yeah, definitely,
People, and I'll get this up now, and we'll talk about some of the questions that we think. Didn't go deep into it, but
there's so much
story,
more.
your childhood.
There is,
other little bits as well.
Yeah.
But loads of love to you all, and big love to my
enough
boy,
love,
Jamie.
people.
All right, then. Sweet as a nut, you know.